Hi everybody, welcome to this new episode. In today's tutorial, I would like to demonstrate how to work with XML files, how to create a XML file which contains properties, key value pairs, how to create it programmatically from a Java application, and how to read from it. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, as always, create a Java project. I'll call this properties XML. Next, I'm going to create entry class. Make sure that I have a main method automatically generated. Next, I would like to from start we instantiate properties. Let's call it P, these new properties. Good. I might have to add some shortcuts stuff. Import properties. Okay, we have properties imports. Good. The next thing I want to do, I want to write properties into a file, right? So I don't have now many properties I can write, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the system getinf, and this will return me a bunch of key value pairs with all the environmental variables of my system. So the way I'm going to for each loop through it is by using a Lambda expression in which I am going to system out println my key value pairs, and I'm doing this by saying separate the key with an equal sign from the value and print it onto the screen. Loop through all of the environment variables. So let's test this part, and there we go. We have all the environment variables of my system separated by the equal sign. So the next thing I want to do, I want to write those into an XML file in which the keys will be a property and values will be the value of that property inside of the XML document. So the first thing that I will need is I need to instantiate an output stream, right? I have P and I said okay, let's set the property first. Set property, and this method set property requests a key and a value. So we already have here something nice that will print on the screen, but I'm not interested in printing, I'm interested in writing. So what I'm going to do is I replace key by K, value by V, and I can use this inside of my Lambda expression in order to generate my XML document. So far the document is being generated. I just need to write it into the system. For that I will need to use the store OutputStream store to XML, and it's requesting an output stream. So we don't have an output stream yet. I will create that output stream. The output stream will be outs, let's call it outs, and we're going to access the file system and tell them that we want a new output stream, and I will need to define a path for my output stream. So with the path I will get the URI. So I need to determine a place where I want to store my file. I go back to the system and find a path in my system. So this is the path that I want this file to be stored inside of my system. I will give it a name with a XML extension. I don't want to pass any options for now. And finally, in my pstore to XML, I have to pass the output stream. And if I want to provide a comment, I can say these are my bars. So next I will need to probably add some throws, declarations here, and that should be it for storing the whole file into the file system. I will give it a little try. No error, so seems like it was okay. So we see now here the file has been generated. It's a properties file which contains all my environmental variables. So the next thing I want to do, I will give this code a little bit more of order. So I will create a function, a method, public static void store emps, I will call it, and I will encapsulate this little operation inside of that function. Again, my exception error handling in place. And the next thing that I want to do, I want to now read from this file, right? Read at least one property. So the way I do this is by creating I will create a new method. I will call this read property. Let's give it an argument, my pro. So, and what this is going to do, it will again instantiate properties, new properties. Once I instantiate the new properties, I want to get property, right? I need to I need to load actually my file, right? I will need to load from XML. It requires an input stream. Again, I will have to define an input stream, and that input stream will read from files as always, and I will get from files new input stream, and from here we need to take the path get URI again, which file I'm going to read from. I'm going to read from this file, the same one I just wrote onto, and once I have this, I will pass this into the load from XML, right? Let's make sure that we add the throws and catch and all that stuff for the safety of the code. And once the XML file is loaded into memory, we can then get property. So the property will be my pro, the property that it receives as an argument. So now I want to read a property. There's a property I know exists, and that is the shell property. So let's try it out. I will ask for, oh wait, yes, we get a property, but we're not doing anything with the property, right? So I want to, of course, print that property on the screen, system out, println, and try to print that property. is there a way to turn it into a string just in case? Now I can then read property and pass the property that I'm interested in reading from my XML file, which is shell. And I know this property should be somewhere over here. Yeah, right, there's one here. Okay, let's try what it says. Yep, it's reading the shell property, and if I give another property and run, it will give me the property. So that's pretty much how you can from scratch create a properties file. In this case, for this example, I have used all my environment variables, but it could be anything else. You could read from any other file, comma separated file or whatever, and that's how you can interact with your properties file. Yep, that's all for the moment. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was helpful. Cheers.